Hey guys, it's Godbars here, the self-proclaimed hip-hop historian, and this is the 169th episode of my series where I grab a vinyl from my collection, talk about why I love it, what influence it has, and what its place is in the grand scheme of hip-hop. So this trio definitely had a big bump in their stock due to their verses. They did a little while back now with the Diplomats, otherwise known as Dipset, especially Jadakiss, who really proved that you can win a battle against someone who arguably has more hits than you when you're a true titan of an MC who can freestyle the way he can. Just to be clear, I think everyone who was involved in that verses is insanely talented, and I'm not a big fan of this narrative where people would pretend that Dipset just sucks and lost all credibility just because they didn't win against the Lox in their verses. Of course, the other Lox members, Styles P and Sheik Louch, played their roles and showed out like always, but Jada brought the house down to such a degree that his off-the-cuff freestyles during that battle are easily the most talked about moment, and arguably the most iconic thing to come from verses in general. There were other pretty big moments, like when 3 6 Mafia and Bone Thugs and Harmony had a fight during their verses, but obviously that wasn't a very positive moment for the culture. Obviously, the idea of a versus is still relatively new, so there's hypothetical matchups that could take that top spot if they were to happen, but for me, the entire back and forth with Jada, Sheik, and Styles against Cameron, Jewels, Jim Jones, Freaky, and company is up there with the most legendary battles that Versus platform has ever produced, like KRS-One versus Big Daddy Kane, Snoop Dogg versus DMX, E40 versus Too Short, the RZA versus DJ Premier, and of course Gucci versus Jeezy or Brandy versus Monica. But even before this boost in popularity and notoriety, the Lux had already built a legacy as one of the game's most consistent and hard-working trios. They've remained insanely close to this day, and even during their 15-year musical hiatus as a trio, in between their sophomore LP We Are the Streets and their 2016 return album Filthy America, It's Beautiful, each member dropped quality solo projects, and Styles P and Jadakiss furthered their role as a top duo in hip hop through polishing their iconic back and forths with numerous features on each other's albums, but Sheik is no slouch on the mic either, and I'd say all three members have a similar proximity in their styles and high level of technical proficiency, yet they all have something unique and original about them, which is one of the reasons they mesh together so well as a crew. The Yonkers-based group has rightfully earned their place as one of the most recognizable names when it comes to legendary old-school trios, next to acts like Run DMC, Beastie Boys, De La Soul, Ghetto Boys, Cypress Hill, Fugees, Salt and Peppa, Black Moon, Naughty by Nature, as well as the groups of three that came a little later, like Cunning Linguists, Little Brother, Deltron 3030, and Flatbush Zombies. The thing with hip hop groups that can make it a bit tricky is how you'll have a group like A Tribe Called Quest, for example, where they started off and ended their historic run as a group of four, but when it came to the bulk of their career, they were technically a trio due to original member Jerobi White taking an extended leave of absence after the debut People's Instinctive Travels. Obviously, Bad Boy Records wasn't exactly floundering at this time, with pretty big releases in the late 90s like Mace's Harlem World or Puff and the Family's No Way Out. But after Biggie's tragic passing, the industry giant kind of lost some of its street cred. It isn't like these guys were strictly making pop music or anything, but I'd argue the Lox brought a lot of that credibility back to the label. More than just resonating in the street, though, these guys brought Bad Boy back to a quality place of hip hop music. I feel like sometimes the Logs only have their stellar debut LP, Money, Power, and Respect, brought up for its iconic title track, but as classic as that posse cut is, I think people shouldn't overlook how stellar this entire project is from beginning to end. Every member has killer verses worth sharing some bars from, and I wanted to start with the Ghost Styles P, who kicks the door down with a killer verse to start off the album. He comes with a pretty fitting group of lines to introduce the experience, rapping, "Everything involves the locks. Ask the dude with the money in the safe and the cats on cell blocks. Car parked in the lot, door is locked, and the only time the phone is blocked when home is hot. Sheik has a pretty crazy verse on this track too, giving us gems like, my people order parts for cars like motherfucking pizza for years, while you get all yours from Sears. What, brother, even my guns be German, Link's Cuban, Rug's Persian. Now we can take this to another level, papa, and simply bust your pinata, you hassa. Locks take blocks, turn 'em into Fort Knox. Coke wasn't blowing here till we started going there. However, while Jada is my favorite Locks member with a number of top tier bars to choose from, I wanted to go with his legendary opening lines for the track I Wanna Thank You, which actually has my favorite instrumental on the entire LP. Kiss delivers one of his best verses to date, in my opinion, giving a straight game with, you can't fake it, life is only what you make it, front be a snake, mess around, get your wig hit, ex-schoolboy who wanna go and try to take shit, found his body in the projects naked. I ain't gonna lie, if I wasn't doing this now, I'd probably be tied down in a small town, with my eyes on a couple of guys and their eyes on a couple of pies, 'cause I will survive. Brains is the key to the game. If you ain't got none, what good is a shotgun? If you ain't got guns, then you better cop some, 'cause New World Order's around the block done. Streets beware, Locks get their props from. Check us on the internet, LOX.com. A worldwide message, I try to express it the best I could for y'all to cherish till I perish. Even outside of this track, the production is just amazing here, and it's handled by talented names like Pent PK, Dane Grease, D-Dot, Amen Ra, Puffy, Young Lord, DJ I Rock, Carlos 6 July Brody, Swiss Beats, Stevie J, and the Hitmen. I also want to mention that I think the dedication track that the Locks did for Biggie here, since this came out not long after his passing, is leagues ahead of Puff's I'll Be Missing You, and is definitely aged way better, as that's another beat that I just adore on this thing. There's also a decent amount of features, from Lil' Kim and DMX on the infamous title track, to other legendary guest spots from the likes of Diddy, Carl Thomas, and Kelly Price. When it comes to my 3 favorite tracks overall here, they'd have to be the legendary posse cut of a title track, I Wanna Thank You, and Everybody Wanna Rat. In terms of my honorable mentions, I think I'd go with Livin' the Life, Will Always Love Big Papa, Let's Start Rap Over, Go and Be Some Shit, The Heist Part 1, Not to Be Fucked With, Bitches from Eastwick, Can't Stop, Won't Stop, All for the Love, So Right, Get This Money, and If You Think I'm Jiggy. Thank you for watching my 169th video. Next up, we have what I believe is the first album in this set to come from the South. So look for that one, and if you enjoyed, be sure to like, subscribe, and let me know what your favorite songs off this trio's awesome debut are. Don't forget to have a great day, and I'll see you next time, okay? Alright.
Such a thing. Look, I stand in the flame of a feeling we call pain. Father's Day mug, little hand shaped the clay. Carrier planes flew overhead in pockets.